Welcome back to Double Back for Ammo. My name is Dan, and this is going to be part 2 of our Chris walkthrough of Resident Evil 1 on the GOG Good Old Games version that just came out recently. So before we get started, I need to make a couple of corrections to the first video. I misspoke when I was talking about Chris's response to Rebecca in the first mansion storeroom, that if you don't take her with you, that it doesn't matter. The truth is, if you don't take her with you, then you don't need to play as Rebecca, which makes your game a little shorter. But since this guide is aiming to be a complete guide, I chose to take her with me so I could show you an important part of Rebecca's part of the game. And that's still coming up. So also, the other correction I need to make is that in this room over here on these barrels, there is a small key. And we are going to take that with us into the next area as we proceed into the garden. All right, so outside this door, there's going to be a small garden area with some green herbs. There's going to be 3 green herbs, 2 red herbs, and 2 blue herbs. But, you know, like I've told you before, we don't want to take those unless we absolutely need them, okay? There are also going to be 3 dogs, and we're going to run straight past them all the way to the back, where we're going to find a double gate. And then we'll continue. See, if you just run right past them, it's not a problem. All right, so in this area, it's full of water and we can't cross, so let's go over to this side. Let's go into our menu and use the square crank. Yeah, so if you didn't see the last video, this is not a speed run. This aims to be a complete guide for people who might just now be picking up Resident Evil because they saw it as such a bargain and such a great games on GOG.com. Yeah, so these snakes, you just keep running and notice that they can't climb onto the lift with you. All right, same thing in this area. We're just going to run through. There's 3 dogs here, and we are just going to hug our turns pretty tightly and get through. There's more dogs in this area. Notice the green herbs there. All right, so I'm kind of weaving a little bit just to avoid the dogs, and we get into the guardhouse. Now notice this gargoyle statue. I'm going to push it out to the middle of the corridor here, and then I'm going to start pushing it all the way down the corridor. Don't worry, we'll go in those doors in a little bit. I'll show you the reason that I'm pushing this down the corridor here. Yeah, push it right to about the middle there. All right, so I need to push it back just a little bit. But notice that hole in the floor? There is a mutant vine that'll whip out of that hole in the floor and grab Chris and attack him and drain a little bit of his health. We're going to pass through here quite a bit, so we don't want that to occur. All right, so now we should be in a good spot to nudge this and cover that hole with this gargoyle statue. There we go. And yeah, now we can run all around this area without getting attacked. Okay, and there was another item over here. There are 3 blue herbs. Blue herbs, of course, cure poisoning, so there's lots of potential for poisoning in this area. All right, so over here we have a clip and a first aid spray. There's a typewriter here, but there's no ink ribbons. You can save your game if you want to. Alright, we're going to go into the chest here. I'm going to put the first aid spray in here. Let's move our Beretta down. Now I'm going to combine our clips. And I'm just going to start storing them. I'm going to hang onto the shotgun while I'm here in the guardhouse. Okay, we're not going to need the square crank for a while. But we want to hang on to the shotgun, the shells, and the small key. All right, now let's go to the room across the hall. All right, we're going to run down here, aim upward. Boom. One of my favorite things about Resident Evil. Aim up, instant decapitations. Love it. All right, so now if we examine this little desk that's right here, we can use our small key to unlock it. And we get some shells for the shotgun. So I think we used 2 shells and we gained 7, so it's a total gain of 5. This on the desk, on the bed here is the red book, pardon me. Just waking up. All right, so if we move this to the pages and try to open it, we find out it's blank, and now it's known as the blank book. And then over here, there is a cup. I think if we get to a certain angle, yep, there's a key in the cup. So we have to search it twice for some reason, and we get our small key right back. All right, now we're going to go into the bathroom of this room, and there is another tub full of muddy water that we need to drain. These people that lived on this property are disgusting, just going around leaving bathtubs full of water and dropping their important keys in them. Alright, we can leave. Alright, now if we go into this room, there's going to be a giant spider on the ceiling. Let's run over here and get behind this table. We want to move around a lot with these guys. Ah, hit me twice. Wonderful. Right, now, a lot of times, yep, see there's little spiders that come out of the giant spiders, and they'll poison you. Okay, so I'm already poisoned, so now we want to run down to the end of the hall here. Grab one of these blue herbs and take it. I'm in bad shape. Alright, so we're going to run out here, over here. I think I had some mixed green herbs in the chest. And it's unfortunate that we need to use these. I need to dodge a little better. Alright, so first of all, let's reload the shotgun. Let's use that, and now we're fine. Alright, there should just be one spider left in the room. And it should be over here. There it is. And we could use the tables to kind of evade it. And that also cancels out its spit attack. Alright, now are the little babies going to come? There they are. Alright, so the thing to do when the babies come out is just leave the room and reset. And then when you go back in, no more babies, no more spiders, everything hunky-dory. Okay, over here in this corner, there's a couple of items. There are ink ribbons there on the table. There is a clip over here, but that's going to take up another space in our inventory. So I don't recommend you get these items just yet. Yeah, so I'm saying no to both of these. I'm going to leave them there. Okay. Sorry, I meant to... Alright. No, I don't want that. Let's move away from it. Now let's go over here. Alright, trying to reload it. I'm having trouble waking up today. Alright, so this is the solution for an upcoming puzzle. So if you have agreed to let Rebecca come with you, you will always need to come to this pool table and check the solution. So when you look at it from up here, Chris is standing at midnight, right? Or 12? Because like if you check over here, you'll see that there's a 9 ball. On the other side is the 3 ball. So when you're looking at it like this, it looks like the hands of the clock. So one of the pool sticks is lengthwise across it, and one of the pool sticks is kind of pulled back. The one that's pulled back is the hour hand. So the time that this is showing us is approximately 2:15. So we want to keep that number 215 in mind as we proceed. I have no idea where I'm going. Alright, now we just go down the hallway here. Alright, and if we go down to the end of the hallway, just to kind of show you, we can push this statue back. And there are several green herbs here. What is my status? Yeah, I'm fine right now. So that's just to let you know they're there. This door, marked 002, is locked. And so let's go back to this door. Now there is an apiary in here and a giant bee's nest around the corner. I'll show you. So you want to run into this area, run right under it, search this table, and grab the dormitory key. Then turn around and run out of here before these giant bees catch up to you. Alright, and like before, that resets the area. So if you check this and kind of rotate it over, you'll see a 002 on it, and it becomes the 002 key. Let's go over here and use it. Discard it. All right, and in here we have a map of the dormitory on the wall. Okay, and then we can use our small key on this desk. Get shells. All right, important file here on the bed about Plant 42. It has to do with that mutant vine I told you about out there. And then over here there's a puzzle. So it seems like the correct way to solve this is to push that one back, that bookshelf, and then get over here and push it this direction. However, you can also solve it a little more quickly just by pushing it from this side. And then you'll see a ladder that you can descend. Alright, so if we run forward a little bit here, we'll find a box at the corner. We want to push the box back about halfway behind this corner. Alright, just like that. And then we should be able to get some leverage on it, push it across the hallway. And now we're just going to start pushing it down the corridor. So it takes, this is the part of the puzzle that takes a long while. You don't want to run through the whole corridor and see what's going on here and then realize you have to go back and push that box. I'm just kind of shortening things up. Alright, so now if that's good position, so now if we walk around here we can see that it's blocked. There is a big, like, divot, or I don't know, it's just broken and there's water in it. So now we need to start pushing all three of these boxes into the water to make ourselves a little bridge. And then we just push the third box in line. Alright, and there we go. We have a little bridge formed. Oh, a couple of green herbs here if we need them. And then we are wading into some water. Alright, so in the next room here, there's actually a broken water tank. And the room is full of sharks. So we are going to cross this room as fast as possible and use our C room key on a door on the opposite side. So here we go. All right, so heading this way, hugging the curve as tightly as possible without stopping. And then coming over here, we're going to see a shark probably. All right, we haven't seen one of the sharks, but I've used the C room key. We can discard it. And then when we exit out of here, yep, you saw it just a second there. It sort of swam with you. All right, so this switch over here on the wall, examine this and pull it. And that'll drain the water in the room. Now run straight ahead from where cursor turns to and examine this part of the wall and you'll find a button. Push it and you'll unlock the room next door. Okay, you can hear a flopping out here, and that flopping is the sharks that I mentioned. So we'll go see that little spectacle in a minute. Over here on the shelf, there are 2 clips. Go ahead and pick them up. We've got the inventory space now that we've used a couple of other items. And then back here is 2 boxes of shells. All right, that took our total up quite a bit. And then glimmering on the shelf over here is another key, another dormitory key. And when we examine it in our inventory, we see the number 3. So we're now ready to go find dormitory hall number 3. Okay, there is another room on the far side. You probably saw the door. We're going to go in here. All right, so this is important for later. This giant plant root is related to Plant 42 above, and that'll be important later. If we check this box over here, though, we get a small key. All right, we're full, so we're ready to head back upstairs. All right, so I'm going to hug this wall pretty tightly because the sharks are flopping around there. They can actually bite you, so don't get too close to them. And we can use the green herbs to heal up if the sharks manage to get a hold of us. Alright, let's head back up the ladder. Alright, and then in this bathroom there is a zombie in here. We're going to blow its head off. Alright, and then over here we can check the sink to get yet another clip. Alright, we're done here in room 002. Let's go back to the apiary area, and we're going to cross this area very quickly. And we are going to go to this door and use the 003 key. We can then discard it. Alright, and then down here in this room, I believe, yeah, here's the desk. We can unlock it. And we can get some ink ribbons. And go ahead and take them. We're about to use some other items. Examine this bookshelf at the back to get a file, the V-Jolt report. So now a book is missing, which is an interesting thing to point out because we happen to have a blank book. And inserting it there reveals a secret door. Alright, so I'm gonna reload my shotgun and then go through the door. Alright, this is Plant 42. And if we agree to let Rebecca come with us, then this is what happens.
Rebecca, no, it's no use. The roots of it are in the basement. You get along.
Chris!
Take this file with you. Use the information in it in order to make the potion and kill the root. Rebecca, please.
Chris! Don't die!
Alright, so they're basically showing us in B1 where to use the root. Rebecca is not equipped with her handgun. She was in the scene just a moment ago, but it's not important. Let's go over to this door. There is a security panel on the door here, and remember we found a code earlier. So we are going to push the keys, and the code we saw earlier was 2, 1, 5. It kind of seems like a bomb. I mean, it's not reassuring that the numbers kind of swirl down like that. All right, so in this room, there's several clues about how to make the V-Jolt. There's this formula. This basically shows you the combinations you have to make to get the UMB number 16, known as the V-Jolt. There are several where there's twinkling. So if you examine the shelves in certain spots, there's chemicals you can pick up. There's really only 2, and if you examine here, you can get an empty bottle. And then there's another one over here. And all right, so then like over here is another little note on the wall, and it lets you know that water is 1. And that's the big help that you need. So let's go ahead. There's another water bottle, empty bottle there if you need it. Let's put water in one of the empty bottles. So we got water. And then let's put UMB number 2 in the other one. All right, and then if we open the menu and we combine 2 and water, we get MP003. So the next one is to combine 3 and 4. So we need to just grab some UMB number 4, which we can get from this area of the shelf. All right, and then go back in our menu and combine them. All right, we've got UMB number 7. Now we're going to need another empty bottle. So we'll just grab this one here. There's a 4th in the room, but you don't need it. So now we're going to... okay, so we have number 7 and we need to make number 6. So we're going to grab the 2 chemicals. UMB number 2. And then we're going to go over here and grab UMB number 4. Yeah, a lot of people tell Rebecca to stay in the mansion because they just don't want to do this part. Also, it's pretty critical to speedrunning. All right, so we combine the 6 with the 7, we get number 13. And now we just have to make the first combination again. Get water. And get number 2. All right, we need to combine water and number 2 to get number 3. And then we combine number 3 with number 13 to get the V-Jolt. And we're all done in here. All right, so now we need to go over to dorm room number 2 and use the ladder to go down to the basement. See, the bookshelves are rearranged. They're different than the way I pushed them. So I think that's like Capcom's way of saying, hey, this is the solution. Except, you know, that's not what we did. All right, the sharks are still going to be in here, believe it or not. So just avoid them. Go straight over the room with the root. And go over to the roots. And open your menu and use the V-Jolt. It's like she's saying, sayonara. Okay, and you can run out of the room when you try to exit the room. We'll switch back over to Chris, and then we have to do the boss fight. Okay, so with the shotgun, you want to generally aim upward at the bulb. It tends to do more damage, and it reduces the number of shotgun shells you have to use. And also, like, when you see ashes above Chris, it means you want to move. They'll whip you like that, and when you figure out... See, there's those ashes from the ceiling. You just want to keep moving around until they finally drop. Ah, got me. There it is. That's it. What did that take? That took me like 6 shotgun shells, and it barely even damaged me. All right, so I just want to show you something. There's like a fireplace back there, but if you try to leave without checking the fireplace, then it quickly shows you, hey, why didn't you check this fireplace? I've always thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, we get the mansion key, and if we check it, this is optional. You can swing it around. You can see it has a helmet. So this is the helmet key that we've been looking for the whole time we were in the mansion. All right, so now we're going to exit. Double doors and run into Rebecca.
I can't believe it. Are you okay?
Yeah, so much for him. We got to the root of the problem. Saved again.
I just...
Really, thank you.
You'd do the same for me, wouldn't you?
Yeah, sure.
Guarantee it.
Well, Chris, this is Richard's radio. We received communication from Brad at the courtyard a little while ago, but he is still flying around in the sky. He obviously couldn't hear our voices. Maybe his radio is broken.
I see. Understood. I'll keep it. We should somehow let Brad know we're here.
All right, so the comm radio just adds a new option to the ones like map, file, exit.
I found a little while ago. I think I will be able to make something. Anyway, Chris, I'm glad you're safe.
So just to provide some help, you can actually go over to the chemical room at this point. You can find Rebecca in here, and you can speak to her for more dialogue. If you are hurt, you can actually speak to her and get healed. She will heal you completely. But I'm going to just kind of move along. We're going to go back out to the hallway.
Wesker!
Chris, you're alive.
My words exactly. Where's Jill? Aren't you with Jill?
I'm sorry. We were attacked by a strange monster. I lost track of her while we were scouting around. I hope she's okay.
I see. Well, it's not your fault. This place is crazy. If we stay here, all of us will end up dead. What should we do, Wesker?
We have to complete this mission. Whether we escape or stay and look for Jill, we don't have many bullets left, and we can't even protect ourselves. We're still in trouble. Chris, there are a lot of locked rooms in that house. Check them out one more time. There must be a place to hide safely. I'll look around the house a little more.
Okay.
Let's get going.
Okay, and look, notice he was killing the bees here. You can run. You can run on 'em. Splat! I like that. What a neat little detail they added in there. All right, so we are done in the guardhouse. Now that we are leaving, I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to grab these ink ribbons. They'll be combined in the ones I already have. And there's a clip over here. And the reason I'm collecting this stuff is for later, right? And also for completeness of the guide. Just to make sure that you guys are covered on ink ribbons and bullets. All right, so here at this chest. All right, so first thing we're going to do is if you're going to save, go ahead and save, right? We'll overwrite this one because I don't need it anymore. All right, and then to get ready for the next area, we're just going to drop off the ink ribbons. Oh, actually, we need to combine them. It's kind of annoying that we have to combine them ourselves. Maybe the next game will solve that for us. Hint, hint. Okay, and then we'll grab this clip, combine these. And then we can store our clip back in here. All right, and so, yeah, right below there. So that's it. That's all we need to take back with us into the mansion. And this video is already looking like it's about a half hour long. I want these videos to be a little bit shorter so that more people watch them. And I'll see you in the next one. We're going to go back to the mansion, finish up the mansion, and then we're going to go to the underground and then on to the lab. So 3 more videos in this series. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day.